Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another episode of the Just Seen podcast. Supposed to be on a hiatus till season 4, but this is one of those impromptu pop-ups that, I just felt like talking about because, after a while, when I repeat myself so many times, I just realized that it's something that I got to express, so I don't have to repeat it again. But I want to talk about choices versus options, and options versus choices, and how there's a misconception and a slight confusion between the two, and how we get caught up in the illusion that they're the same thing. Most of this was inspired by, elections and shit. Before I go heavy into that, let me explain that I'm not for or against voting. I'm indifferent to it. Excuse my English, I don't really give a fuck about it, to be honest. This is not me telling you not to vote. This is not me telling you to vote. This is also me not saying that I'm unaware of what happens in politics. Just because I don't discuss it, just because I don't talk about it, I pay close attention to it. That's why a lot of my actions are built the way they're built. But I'm seeing that some people really don't know the difference between the two on a grander scale. And what really prompted it was a post I seen where it was saying, if you don't vote for Biden and Harris, then you're automatically voting for Trump. No, if I'm not voting for them, I'm not voting for that nigga either. Like, that shit, it gets stupid when you feel like your options and your choices are one and the same. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if we were more able to pick our own choices, things might be different if we even knew that we were picking choices. Now we're picking from the choices that were already presented for us. This is what gives us options. You dig what I'm saying? So, I don't know, I just want to talk about that on a grander scale, on a larger perspective, because what I'm saying is that when it comes to being oblivious to it, it can be detrimental. You know what I mean? And we end up picking our own poison. You feel me? We end up picking our own poison, the lesser of the two evils, whatever the case is, we go for that shit. So, it's just something I really wanted to talk about. Nothing too heavy, nothing too major or crazy, but it's a reality. It's a reality. And, because it's one of the impromptu Jones, it's not much structure to it, of course, so it's just where I'm at in the space that I'm in right now. But as always, before we get started, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_seen_. Be sure to visit my website, imjustseen.com, to get all things Just Seen. If you want to sign up for the trading course, you can sign up for the vegan course, vegan books, everything that is me is there, my merch, the podcast, everything. So before I dive heavy into it, we'll just take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss impromptu pop-up. I think this is number 2, should be number 2. Impromptu pop-ups, pick your poison, or options versus choices, some shit like that. 1 and 2. The title's probably already set by the time you're seeing this, so it's going to be one of those. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with impromptu pop-ups. Pick your poison. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit imjustseen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the Soul Frail series to your library? Visit imjustseen.com. You want to learn how to master the market for serious trading and investing? Visit imjustseen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit imjustseen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit imjustseen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit imjustseen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at imjustseen.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSing.com. All right, welcome back. And in light of recent events, I mean recent, like as far as fucking like yesterday or the day before, some shit like that. I've observed that one, there's a state of fear, a perpetual fear that people live in, and two, that perpetual fear makes people only pick available options and not see what their choices could be or create the choices for themselves. Okay. And when it comes to this election and shit, this shit is theatrics for one. It's it's a game. It's a game to be played, and the root of it all is that you're given options under the illusion that you're making a choice, and a lot of it is semantics and wordplay. Because it's like, oh, well, I choose an option. Choose is a derivative of the word choice. Blah 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 blah. But you're not making a choice. A choice is predicated by you. You feel what I'm saying? You didn't get to make a choice. They gave you the candidates. They gave you what you have to see, and you have to make a choice from it and say, hey, well, this is it. And like I said, this is what gets us caught up in the proverbial lesser of two evils. Like, that's crazy as fuck. It's like the lesser of two evils. Like, just listen to that shit. Like, we're actively acknowledging that we're choosing evil because there is no good. You feel what I mean? It's just whoever's the not so evil that we're gonna fuck with. You dig what I mean? And that becomes problematic in every aspect of life. You feel what I'm saying? Because it shows a lot of times how much we have been reduced to children, no matter how old we get. No matter how much we live and progress in life, we're still reduced to children. You feel me? Because we don't get a chance to make a choice or pay attention to the reality that we're dealing with. Like, I look at how like I said, the post that prompted this shit was a motherfucker saying, a vote not for Biden and Harris is automatically a vote for Trump. Nah, it's not a vote for either one of them if you don't fuck with them. Like, that's your choice. Like, you feel me? Now, hear me well. This ain't me being on no Kanye shit. Slavery was a choice, and I'm not on no shit like that. Slavery wasn't a choice. Slavery was an option. You feel me? Slavery was a motherfucking option. The option was either slavery or death. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So there wasn't a choice. The choice would have been to not have the propaganda and shit put up in your head, not have all of the fucked up shit to put in your head, to eliminate your choice, to only be reduced to having life or death. Like, you feel me? So that kind of plays into it too. Because a lot of people were upset. Like, yo, I was on some, this nigga tripping shit too. But at the same time, it was the presented option. It wasn't the choice. You feel me? Slavery was an option. And the only other option that you had outside of that was to die. And, I get it. We quoted that Killmonger shit. He was like, yo, bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who knew that death was better than slavery. Like, that was their option. It wasn't their choice. It wasn't their choice. They were presented an option. The lesser of two evils. And it's crazy as hell when you actually consider that, because death was the lesser of two evils, bro. Like, when it comes to enslavement, death was the lesser of two evils. So that option was like, because the real option, I get it. Some of us were already here on this land, I'm not trying to have that conversation. I'm not trying to have that conversation, but it's the lesser of the two evils, in the grand scheme of it, to get on that boat, the good ship Jesus, to fuck with missionaries and allow them to indoctrinate you with some shit, and make all of this shit happen, depending on how you study the history, like what came first, slavery or Christianity, or, slavery or Islam. You feel what I'm saying? What was the choice? So, I mean, which came first? But at the end of the day, beginning of the day, middle of the day, we were provided with two options: life or death. You feel what I'm saying? Life or death, which one are we going to choose? No. We could have been Christians before we got in here, which made it easy to get on a good ship. Jesus could be like, yo, this is Jesus coming back. This is your Savior, Or was it beating us when we got here? Who knows? They skew history so motherfucking much you really can't tell. But I do know that we just had an option. And collectively, as people, that's all we ever given. Our motherfucking options. And we think we have choices. It's almost like when you hungry, you tell a motherfucker you hungry. Like, my people could relate to this in a plethora of ways. Like, if your parents cook and you be like, I don't want that. Like, well, you ain't hungry then. Guess you ain't eating. That's an option. Your option is to eat what was cooked or starve. Like, it's not a choice. You feel me? That's not a motherfucking choice. And that's it that's what it's like on a smaller scale. That's still significant. Like, all our lives, we have been awarded options to choose and to pick from, and think that's the only way, So when the actual choice comes in, you fight it because it's not in the options that have always been presented to you. Case in point, plant-based eating. Plant-based eating is actually a choice. That is a choice. And because it's never been provided in the options, we never consider that. We like, nah, it's either you eat meat or you don't. You either, you know what I mean? But see, the thing with choices versus options, choices comes with a thought process. Choices come with an ability to use your mind. Options don't. You don't have to think about it. The thinking has been done for you. You feel what I'm saying? It's like the thinking has been done for you, which is very, like, in some regards, for some people, it's beneficial because I could focus on other things. But it's also detrimental because even if these things are bad for me, what are they going to do? Like, look at the hospital system, the healthcare system and shit. Your choice when you get sick, your options when you get sick is this: surgery, medicine, or die. You feel me? That's what they give you. You feel me? Like, you get high blood pressure. They'll say, well, here's high blood pressure medicine. You feel what I'm saying? But they'll never give you the choice to take high blood pressure medicine or even to figure out what the fuck is causing your high blood pressure and remove that shit. You'll never get off high blood pressure medicine. You're always going to have high blood pressure because people don't understand that a lot of times high blood pressure isn't even tied to what you eat. You feel me? It's not tied to what you eat, but it is tied to your biological function. You dig what I'm saying? Your biological function puts when people have high blood pressure, it's because they're in a sympathetic state of mind. Sympathetic is the sympathetic state of, I'm not going to say state of mind. You're in a sympathetic energy of your nervous system. A sympathetic perspective of your nervous system, right? So when you're in a sympathetic mode, you're in fight or flight response, right? Pretty much all fight or flight responses are triggered by fear, right? When you're stuck in a state of fear on a regular basis, fear and survival, right? So if you're stuck in a state of fear, which incidentally is going to still go hand in hand because both of those positions are connected to your root chakra energy. You feel what I'm saying? Your root chakra. And your root chakra is blocked by fear, and it governs your survival. It governs your foundation of life. So when you're in a state of survival at all times, you're going to also fear whether or not you're going to live or die. That's what survival is. Survival is the battle between life and death. You know how fucked up that's got to be to live in that shit all the time? But that keeps us in a state of sympathetic mode, fight or flight response. So they provide blood pressure pills. Not like, okay, well, let's show you a way to secure your fears and shit. But they're not going to do that. They're not gonna do that. But if I prescribe this medicine, so you like, oh, I done changed my diet, but I still got high blood pressure. I changed the way I eat. Like, what's happening? Like, the choice becomes, okay, what's causing me high blood pressure? Okay, well, you have blocked artery. So when you have blocked artery, well, I'm gonna break down the sympathetic mode first. So when you're in a fight or flight response, what happens is sympathetic mode causes your blood vessels to constrict. Why? Because in sympathetic mode, that's fight or flight response. You're in a position that you need rapid movement of your blood. You need oxygen in your body to continually move fast, right? So you constrict the vessels because that increases the pressure to allow things to move. Now, here's where it gets fucked up because you're eating shit that causes plaques in your body. You feel me? These plaques are caused by fats that solidify in your body. So when you eat butter, a lot, margarine, things of that nature, things that if you sit them out at room temperature, they're still solid. Once they're back into your body, they're going to be solid as well. And where they're going to collect in your blood vessels. You feel me? They know this shit, so they don't tell you how to eliminate that shit. They just say, hey, here's high blood pressure. So what it's going to do is it's going to offset the natural rhythm of your body. The pharmacology of it all is going to trigger things that say, hey, stop putting your body in. It's going to tell the body to stay out of sympathetic mode. It sounds good, but it can't, because that's why it's only temporary. After it's out of your system, you got to take them every day. You got to take them at night because it's set up to work for a certain amount of time. Because after it's out of your body, it's moved from whatever signals are causing it. Then it, gives you what it gives you. So you have to continually take that shit. But they never say, well, look, this is what you got to do. Stop eating this particular, then you're not given a choice. And the choice is basically you're given the information to really decide, But now we're going to say, we've already made the choice for you because we're smart, we're doctors, we're whatever. So here's your options. You feel what I'm saying? Deal with the blood pressure and stay getting lightheaded and shit with deoxygenated blood that is pressurized and move faster. Or, you can oxygenate your blood, clean your vessels out, shit like that. Because then you don't come back to me. You feel me? And I'm learning that's a manipulative tactic, and that's what options give you. They give you the thing that keeps you coming back, So not only do I not think for you, I make you feel like I got your best interest in hand or whatever the case may be. And now you pick, But with this election shit, it's different. This election shit is different as far as choices and options, because with this election shit, they create such a fucked up circumstance that you're like, damn, I just don't want these problems anymore. Give me a different set of problems to deal with, but I don't want these anymore. You feel what I'm saying? And by not wanting these particular options, I feel like my life will be better. My life will work a lot more. It will function differently, And so you choose, So we're looking at Trump or we're looking at Biden, right? Both of these motherfuckers are like soda. They're like soda, bro. And, it's funny as shit because you have, let's say you got Coke and then you got Diet Coke. It's still Coke, nigga. The fuck? But motherfuckers, I'm going to drink a diet soda today. And they don't really know that diet sodas are worse than regular sodas. And they're both bad. You're drinking acid. People don't think about that part. You're drinking acid, you're drinking carbonated drinks. So think about breathing. You feel what I'm saying? If you just think about breathing, bruh. When you exhale, you are eliminating carbon dioxide. What the fuck are you taking in with a carbonated drink? You feel what I'm saying? You're putting the shit in your body that your body naturally expels. Now, carbonated drinks, there's a different chemical structure, a different formula. Then it's not necessarily CO2, that's carbon dioxide. But, you feel me? A carbonated drink still carries CO2 in it. You feel me? I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm a little rusty on my science and shit. I think a carbonated drink is CO3 minus or something like that. But whatever the case may be, this is why when you drink the shit, you burp so heavily. Because now a burp is just like a fart. I know it's going to get graphic, but a burp is just like a fart. It is your body trying to release a gas that's not supposed to be in it. You feel what I'm saying? And the fact that once you drink a soda, it causes you to burp quick is because your body's like, I got to expel this shit fast. You feel me? No different than vomit. When you take something in and it makes you nauseous and you got to throw it up, it's because your body says, we have to get this shit out fast. Like right now. There's no waiting around that shit. We can't process this. There's nothing we can do for this except get it out of the body now. You feel what I'm saying? And that's when you vomit. That's when you burp. That's when you shit. You fart. Like these things have to come out of your body because it's like, nigga, we need this shit out now. So that is what these two motherfuckers are like. You feel me? Trump will be just regular Coke. You feel me? But Biden is Diet Coke. You feel what I'm saying? He's Diet Coke. And that's what the whole lesser of two evils is. It's like, yo, so now imagine somebody tells you you're thirsty. Your body needs water. 70% water. 65 to 70% water, right? Your body needs water. But it's like you're thirsty and somebody throws you a soda. It's an option. Well, there's some sodas in there, some juice. You feel what I'm saying? You got to make the choice as to what your body needs to be hydrated. Sodas don't hydrate you. They don't do shit for you, right? So with the metaphor and the comparison of them being like soda, that's what it's like. That's what this reality is like. I'm going to pick the soda that's bad. I'm going to drink the acid. I got to drink some acid, but I'm going to drink the diet acid. Why? Because it doesn't have sugar in it. It has a sweetener in it, though. Because these shits are the same fucking drink. You feel me? One just doesn't have sugar. The other one has a sugar substitute. But the substitute is oftentimes a lot worse than the actual thing. You dig me? So we bring that shit in and we're left with the option. Do I want this acid? Or do I want the acid with sugar? Or do I want the acid with the sugar substitute? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Well, I do know, but this is just how I personally feel. Like, all white people are racist. You feel me? All white people are racist. And any white person over the age of 40, you were raised in a racist era. I can't conceive anything other than that. So now you have presidents that are in their 70s. The fuck? Like, you feel me? They're good at hiding the shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he was under Barack Obama. He can't be racist. He's still racist. You feel what I'm saying? He's still a racist man. He's still like that the time doesn't absolve him from that. He becomes tolerable to black people. And I think we confuse that shit. Like, a motherfucker's tolerable, that means they suddenly aren't racist or they're not. No, they're just as racist as they were the day the womb pushed them out. The racist womb pushed them out. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So this is all a game. And what we don't realize is that black people control the game. As black people, we control the outcome of every game that we play in America. Every game that is played in the world, we control the outcome of it. And so many things have convinced us and tricked us into seeing that we have no value in the game. We're just here. No, we control this motherfucker. We control every game that is being played. The healthcare system, the prison system, any system that you could think of that black folks control the outcome of it. You feel what I'm saying? It's not an accident, So what they've done is they've given us options to pick from within their systems, because it's like, as long as they feel like they're choosing, they're good. That's what the human psyche is in many ways. You dig what I mean? That's what the human psyche is in many ways. It's built off of, what it has become. Being built off feeling like you're in power because you picked an option. But like, what's real power? Picking the option or providing the option? Picking the option or providing the option. So when we look at the recent events of like the Black Lives Matter shit and how everybody, we're going to remove Aunt Jemima. We're going to, it got so fucking petty that even, because everybody, like, we can't let black people just no longer be a part of this game because they're starting to say we're done playing this game with y'all. You feel me? So it's like, let's give them what they want. Let's give them their options and say, hey, we're on your side, pick us. We're on your side, pick us. And they're not. They're not. You feel what I'm saying? They need our money. They need our energy. They need everything from us. You feel what I'm saying? So they create the option that keeps that shit in motion, right? So, I'm not on no shit where I'm going to say I'm a prophet or nothing like that. But, when you look at what a prophet really is, it's not no mystical shit. A prophet is somebody who understands the past, analyzes the present, and then can predict the future based off of it. So, years ago, I was like, yo, once I seen she was taken out of the race and shit, I ain't gonna say years ago because it just happened like a year and a half ago or some shit like that. But once she was taken out of the race, I was like, yo, what's gonna happen is Biden's gonna be pushed in. She's gonna be his vice president. You don't know that? You can go, all right, motherfucker. I've been watching this game for a long time. I've been aware of this game for a long time and how it works. You feel me? It's all strategically placed like that. With Biden sitting under Barack Obama, it's like, okay, we're going to keep the Democrats know what they're doing, which is also a fucked up quandary because all black people, a majority of black people, they're Democrats. They're Democrats. And then what pissed me off is how black people became Republicans and shit, just because it's out of spite. Like, we know the Democrats ain't never do shit for us. So now it's like, we're going to go to the other option, the Republicans. Nigga, who the fuck cares what side you're on? Whether it's left wing or right wing, it's the same fucking bald eagle. You dig what I'm saying? And you're going to go where it wants you to go. Even sticking with that metaphor, if a bird does pick you up, right, it's a big ass fucking bird, but hypothetical. If a bird does pick you up and it says, yo, you're going where I want you to go, which side you want to sit on? You want to be on the left wing or you want to be on the right wing? It's up to you. Or you can be bipartisan. You can, be the motherfucker who decides, okay, I'm going to sit smack dab in the middle because I like both sides, but I'm still going to ride this motherfucking bird. I want this bird to take me wherever I want it, where it's going to go. And I think I want to be there because I'm sitting on the bird. Okay, but whatever. That's your option. You feel what I'm saying? And as the way it played out with this election, it's like, yo, we're going to bring back black people back to us. How we're going to do it, give them 4 years of racism. Give them 4 years of racism that has always been there, but put it in their face. You feel what I'm saying? Because we start to see after the only reason why, like election numbers and shit, they went the way that they went because, we really only voted for Barack Obama because he was black. At the end of the day, it was like in an option when you see representation, you really gonna fuck with it, right? So now it's like, let's bring that representation back. You feel me? But we gotta fuck up the system first. We gotta shake shit up. You feel me? Like nobody's like, I'm not gonna say there's no way Trump can win because he still can, but you got to think about this, right? Nobody, like, motherfuckers really just stopped paying. Like, Trump got impeached, bro. He just hasn't had his hearing or his trial because he can't. Like, he played it right. But Trump has already been impeached. How the fuck are you going to be a president if you've been impeached? Like people, we forgot about that shit somehow. We forgot about that shit because his impeachment didn't take him out of the office. But the motherfucker was impeached, bro. Sis? So going forward, like, is he really going to be president? Chances are no. You feel me? It has nothing to do with your vote. It has nothing to do with anything. Like, we've already established what the fuck we're going to do and what's going to happen. But we got to give you the option. We got to make it feel like you're picking. It's already been picked for you. It's already been decided. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it comes to the electoral college. It doesn't come to the popular vote. Because if it did come to the popular vote, then Hillary would have won. She smoked him. She smoked him. So when people be like, yeah, your votes count. No, your vote is counted. It doesn't count. You feel me? Because and that's like people like, yo, go make your voice heard, go vote so you can, be whatever. You feel me? Again, I'm not for or against voting, but be intentional with your voting. You feel what I'm saying? If you know that the electoral college is who picks the votes, who picks the winner, you dig what I mean? And voting is that important to you. You have to ensure how to make your vote count. So those states, the swing states, the states that, certain people control, the people have to learn how to control them. You feel what I'm saying? When I was in college, this is when I really got hip to it. When I was in college, motherfuckers around election time, yo, are you registered to vote here? Yeah, I'm registered. And it's like, that's where I first voted. But I noticed everywhere I lived, they would ask me, am I registered to vote here? And I would never, and then I finally put two and two together. It's like, oh, that's how you make your vote count. You register where you want your vote to go. So it's like, if we really, and it's like, you don't have to live there. You feel what I'm saying? Because when I had to register to vote, when I voted for Obama, you feel me? It was 2008. I had only been in that city for it was that year because I went in August, November. Yeah, you registered to vote. I went on ahead and registered to vote. I voted then. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I didn't live there. You don't have to have a timeline to how long you lived there. When I moved to Philly, same shit. Same exact shit. Trump got elected in 2016. You feel what I'm saying? I had only been there since 2015, so I didn't put a full year in. So it's not like some kind of mandatory stipulation that you had. Like, they don't put that on. They just ask you if you're registered to vote, right? So if we really want the choice, you feel me? We got to put in extra work. But see, again, options make it so you don't have to think. There's no effort for you when you have an option. But a choice, if you really have that choice and you put that choice and you would say, you know what? I know that California has a big state, or California has a big president, or I know that this particular state is Republican, right? So as a Democrat, what I'm going to do is rally up some motherfuckers, or I'm going to connect with motherfuckers that are already in this particular state, make a solid, connection with them and say, hey, I'm going to come there to vote, and I'm going to register to vote there. I'm going to use your address. There's ways in which you can make your vote count. But we just want our votes counted, right? So then when you make your vote count, the Electoral College has no choice but to do what it's supposed to do, because the Electoral College picks off of popularity, but it goes with different sectors. You feel what I'm saying? Certain places have more precedence than others in the Electoral College vote. This is why Hillary whooped his ass in the popular vote collectively, but she did not whoop his ass where it mattered. But then that goes into other things. This is how you know it was a setup. Hillary couldn't have been president right now. Hillary could not have been president right now. You feel what I'm saying? The reason why is because all of this shit had to come out. Like, I don't know if people are paying attention to, the politics, but not the politicians. And when I mean that, I mean the personal activity of these politicians. Nobody's talking about how Bill and Hillary just got their assets seized. They're flying coach and shit. They're not even flying private jets no more. They're flying coach with regular motherfuckers. Why? Because their assets have been frozen. Why are their assets been frozen? Because of Pizzagate, because of adrenochrome, because of child rape and molestation and kidnapping. Their names are on those motherfuckers. How the fuck would it look to have a president locked into that shit, knowing it was going to come out? They knew this shit was going to happen. They knew the Epstein shit was going to pop off. They knew all of this shit was going to happen because it started to come out. They said, we cannot put her in there. She cannot be in this position. The younger generation, it's their first time voting. They were upset and heated. You guys, I don't get it. She won the popular vote. How did she still lose the election? Because she wasn't supposed to win the motherfucker. All right. Look. The markets are not a difficult place to understand. All right. You just have to know what you're looking at. And there's 5 things that you need to see before you can make any market entry. First, you need a pocket, so you can know which direction the market is going in. Second, you need a pullback, so you can get the better price. Third, you need a battlefield, so you can see when that market movement is slowing down. Fourth, you need the upper hand, so you can see when the market reactivates. And last, you need a final push, so you can see the exact moment when it's time to go with the direction you are already moving in. Okay? Of course, there's so much more that has to go into that, and it's not as cut and dry as that. But those are things that I teach in my Mastering the Market course. So if you would like to learn more, please visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today. Although it is directed and specialized for Forex, all of the skills, I crafted them to be transferable to any market that you're looking at. So again, visit IamJustSing.com and check out the Mastering the Market course today if you are truly looking to master the market. Oh yeah, and don't forget, while I still got you, you can use promo code QUARANTINE to save over 90% off of the enrollment of the full price of the course. That is QUARANTINE, QUARANTEEN. She smoked him. Nobody wanted Trump in that bitch. She smoked him. You feel me? Popular vote wise. But even if you're looking at the electoral college bullshit, even still, it's like we want who we want in the presidency. We're going to put who we need to put in that motherfucker. You feel me? And then we're going to make you guys argue afterwards but about the options we chose you. We chose for you. We gave you the options. And so now you can argue about whether or not your option won. It makes you feel good when your option wins. It's like, well, I tried. You didn't make a choice. That's why it's like, I always say I'm not for or against voting. I'm not telling you not to vote. I'm not telling you to vote. I don't give a fuck about the shit. You feel me? I don't give a fuck about an election because I already know the outcome before it happens. You feel what I'm saying? I know how to determine the outcome of what's going to happen, a lot easier, and it's stupid. So like I was talking to people. They're like, well, if you're not going to vote, then you don't need to be saying anything about it. And I don't. I don't think people really pay attention to that shit. The sole fact that I don't vote, but I also don't talk about politics. But I never said that people assume that I'm not into politics, so I don't know what the fuck is going on because I didn't vote. Or it's like I don't talk about politics. I don't. You feel me? I don't talk about politics. I don't do politics, but I know what the fuck is going on. So much so that's why I had to become an entrepreneur because I seen this shit don't work. They only work for motherfuckers. Like this whole system is designed for business people. It's designed for people on it. It's like if you want to be rewarded in that shit, you have to be capitalistic. Fuck. You got people against capitalism voting for capitalists. And you think you had a goddamn choice? You feel me? You really think you had a choice and you voting for all capitalists because it's all about the money. You feel what I'm saying? We think capitalism is just about the dollar itself though too. No, capitalism is a mentality, bro. It's a mentality on leveraging things. Like capital just doesn't have to be money. It's a resource. Capitalism is about exploiting resources. You dig what I'm saying? So why everybody, let's make them think capitalism is about big farm and money and big business and shit. Yeah, no, the biggest resource is the people. Smart guy, that's who generates the money. We capitalize on them. You feel what I'm saying? This is why you had Hillary doing the nay and the whatever the other dances were. I'm going to capitalize on the resource. Make you seem like I fuck with you. That's why it's like, I don't pick a side. I ain't gonna say I'm Republican. I ain't gonna say I'm Democrat. I'm saying, but that's why I fuck with the Republicans in that regard. I respected what they didn't give a fuck. They're like, man, we don't give a fuck about y'all. We're not even gonna act like we give a fuck about y'all. You feel me? That's worse. That's the worst thing. When a motherfucker acts like they give a fuck about you and then, gets your vote and then leaves you alone. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I voted, so okay. Now, are you gonna put pressure on them? Are you gonna make them do something for you? Nah, you're not. You feel what I'm saying? But the Republicans don't tell you that we're gonna do it. We don't fuck with you. I don't fuck your vote. I don't give a fuck. Like that's how gangster the Republicans are. The Democrats are on some fuck your vote, but I'm gonna act like I fucks with you so I can get it. You feel what I'm saying? It's your option. You pick your option. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I be like, yo, if y'all really had a choice in this whole matter, Bernie Sanders would be representing the Democrats right now. Because that was everybody's choice in the grand scheme of it all. Everybody wanted Bernie to win. Because his shit made the most sense. It benefited the people the most. It benefited the people. It didn't capitalize off the people. You dig what I mean? But somehow he didn't win. Why? Because that wasn't the option they wanted you to have. That wasn't the option they wanted you to have. You know, so he beat him out. We voted. Like, they know what the fuck they're doing, cuz, like, it's not a game. Well, it is a game, but it's not difficult to understand this shit, bro. It's really not. But it's like, as people, as long as we feel that we made the choice, you know, we'll go for that. So I kind of got on a tangent. Like I said, this is off the head, but I kind of got off the tangent because it's like, when people ask me, like, why don't I vote? Or why am I not? Because it's like, they're not my choice. Am I opposed to voting? Hell no. It's like, it's not on no shit like case in point. Back to the metaphor of a parent saying, if you don't eat what I cook, you're not hungry. No, I'm still hungry. I just don't want that. So, you know, as an adult, you would say, oh, I'll cook something else. You feel me? That's a choice. That's a choice. The option is when, okay, well, you just don't eat, go to bed hungry. Nah. Like, the fuck? I choose something. So it's like, for me, when it comes to this election shit, it's like, granted, I don't have the choice. So if my choice isn't up there, fuck it. And you know you can do that shit. You feel me? Can't nobody guilt me into that shit. Oh, well, Trump's gonna win if you don't vote. Like, my vote is just one that's not counted. You feel me? It don't matter. You feel what I'm saying? I don't fuck with either one of these candidates. So why am I gonna pick one that I don't fuck with? Because that's an option. You dig what I mean? That's an option. If I say, if you tell me that you're hungry, and I say, okay, and I bring you back McDonald's and I bring you back Burger King, you know, and you say, well, I guess I'll take Burger King then because I don't really like McDonald's. Whatever. You feel what I mean? Like, that's why I love how women do this shit. It's so assholish and it's fucking annoying, but I love it. Because women will speak on their choice. Ask a woman what she wants to eat and she says, I don't know. You pick. Right? You give her options. She don't want those options. You feel what I'm saying? Why? She's actively exercising her choice. But here's the problem with that. The problem comes in because she never made a choice. She never concrete. She said, I want you to choose for me. You know, sometimes just be a man and take the initiative and go, and then it's like you eat the shit. And then it's like, that's why it's like you go out to eat with a woman. Right? This is some funny shit, but it ties into what I'm talking about. You go out to eat with a woman, she picks off your plate. Like, you literally made the option for your food and what you wanted, and it wasn't your choice. You didn't want that shit. You saw what I had, and it was like, your option was better. I want some of your option. No, deal with the option that you chose. You feel what I'm saying? Since you didn't want to make a choice, you got to deal with the option that you chose. You dig what I mean? It's like that on a grander scale too. You know, nobody wants to deal with the option. Like, I'm willing to deal with the option that I chose. You know, because my option wasn't there. You know, the option wasn't there. So that's why I don't vote. It's not on no asshole shit. It's not on no shit like, oh, I'm trying to be woke and, you know, stand up and say, you know, I'm not trying to be on no stand-up shit. Oh, don't vote. Fuck them. Let that shit night. Nah, if you're compelled to vote, vote. If you're compelled not to vote, don't vote. But let that be your choice to do so. But make it based off of the fact that you had to choose something. You dig what I mean? It's like I said, I use a food metaphor. You know what I mean? If I say, yo, I'm hungry, but I don't feel like cooking. Okay, cool. That eliminates any option that needs to be cooked. Okay. Do I want to cook it myself, or do I want to do like those choices are things that I made, and you can become you're satisfied with it. You know what I mean? We're in this mental space of perpetual motion that makes everything convenient. Oh, let me go ahead and do this for you. Let me do it for you. Nobody wants to do shit for themselves. You dig what I'm saying? Nobody wants to do shit for themselves. I keep hearing, well, what about the future of your children? You know, you got I got to think about it like this. Like, this president at least is going to put in 4 years, at most 8 years. My child, like, the human life expectancy is like 70, 80 years old. So you really think that, I look at it like this: me voting does not affect my child's life. Like, this 4-year epoch of this particular president is not going to control my child's life. It has its effects, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I know I just said effect, but I'm flowing right now. It has its effects on it. But at the same time, I don't let that shit dictate shit about my children. I don't have children yet, but I don't let that shit dictate that shit. Because it's like, yo, my child is expected to live about 80 years. So if I really cared about the future of my motherfucking child, what do you think I should do? Vote? That is to ensure that somebody else takes care of my kid. That is to ensure that somebody else puts the best, like, that goes back into this bullshit ass thing about this fucking WAP, where motherfuckers are like, this musician is who's going to take care of my kid and control them and bring them up. Fuck no. I made a choice to have a child, which means I made a choice to do what I need to do. I made a choice to make sure that their choices are okay. They have choices in this world, not options. Something that I paid attention to: rich people, they don't give a fuck about politics. They don't give a fuck about the politics in the sense of they worry about how politics can fuck up their money. If you get to that mentality where, how can politics fuck up my money? You feel me? Not the money that I'm making for somebody else. This is not to talk about, jobs and all of that shit. Look at it from a business side. How can these motherfuckers fuck up my money? And how they fuck up their money? With the resource that the politicians are capitalizing on: people. If you switch this or you move this around, how are you going to fuck up my revenue? Which is ultimately how I'm taking care of my family. You feel what I'm saying? That's when you start to make choices. You feel what I mean? You start to put certain things into motion to say, okay, this is what has to be done. This is what will be done. I'm now thinking for myself, as opposed to having what kind of shit is that, to where the theme is, where people say, well, what about the future for your children? You feel what I'm saying? I'm still relying on these motherfuckers to work the future for me. So am I still a child too? Because I'm not creating this future for myself. You feel me? I'm going to move within the future that they're going to give me. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm going to reiterate, I'm not against voting. I'm not against it. I'm not for it either. I'm for what the fuck is going to help the longevity of my children. And I happen to understand now that businesses, having your own business. Now, small business got fucked up. I'm not against that shit. I'm not denying that shit. Like, small businesses got fucked up. Big corporations lasted. How? What is it that big corporations are doing that small business? It's not size. Let's get that. It's not size. You dig what I mean? People think, oh, it's because they're small business, they're local, they should scale. No. It's how they are understanding what politicians are doing to the capital. What politicians are doing to the capital resource, which is people, not money. Money is a byproduct of that shit, because the people have to give the money. The people have to utilize the money and give it. When black people are liquid money, and on top of that have the highest buying power, who do you think they're going to capitalize on? They're not going to capitalize on their dollar. They're going to capitalize on them as the resource. That's what separates the big corporation from the small corporation. That's what turns a business into a corporation. That separation and that thought process is what changes that. They now realize, okay, this is what you're doing with the resource. You feel me? Day trading taught me some very, very fucking powerful lessons. What are you doing with the resource? The resource is not the money. The money is the byproduct of the resource being the people. That's how capitalism works. What I can do to the people. So when these big corporations are looking at this reality, like, man, I'm going to support this because you're going to fuck up the money. You know, when Nike said we're going to back Kaepernick, they weren't stupid. They operated from the resource of the people. Yo, our biggest fucking client is black people. Fuck that. If they want us to fuck with Cap, we're going to fuck with Cap. You feel me? I forgot who the white guy was. It was an old head white guy. James something. I don't know. James Woods, I think that's who it was. I don't know. He said, I'm taking all of my money out of Nike. We don't give a fuck. Fuck you. You got millions, and yeah, you put millions in us, but one person putting in millions, like, okay, I'm going to use it like this. One person putting $1 million into Nike, right? 1 million. One person putting $1 million into Nike will not have as much impact as 1 million people putting $100 into Nike. You feel what I'm saying? That's what they're paying attention to. So people don't understand that the politics are the options and the choices that you're given. The politics is about the people, but not caring for the people, not giving a fuck about what it's the people as a resource. You feel me? Republicans said, yo, we don't give a fuck about black people. Democrats said the same shit too, but Democrats said, yo, we need their capital. We need their resource. The Republicans are like, we don't give a fuck about that. We understand business. We're focusing on the business. We're going to get their fucking capital regardless. We don't care about the people. We don't care about the emotions of the people. We don't care about the well-being of the people. We care about the people as a resource. You feel what I'm saying? We care about the people as a resource. The Democrats are they're caring about the resource, but they're trying to act like they care about the people as people. No. They're doing it as a resource. So let's like when Kamala Harris did that bullshit about she went to college and she used to listen to Tupac and Snoop. No, the fuck she didn't. She wasn't even in college when they was popping. There's no way she could have been fucking with them. Think, people. What, I think she went to college in 94. She graduated in 94 or some shit like that. So she literally probably went from 88 to 94. When did they come the fuck out? When was Tupac and Snoop popping at the same time? Death Row was popping from 96. What, from like 93 to 96. I'm probably not like, so you could not have been fucking with them heavily in college like that. And the songs that she chose, no, because I was 6 and 7 years old. I'm the timestamp on that shit for her. I was born in 90. I was 6 years old. I was 5, 6, and 7 years old when Tupac and them had they ran. You graduated in 94. It doesn't make sense. You dig what I'm saying? It don't make sense. But we don't pay attention to that shit. They don't, and they so wrapped up in the shit, they don't even pay attention to the shit. They just do shit. Yeah, I listen to Snoop. I listen to Tupac. No, you didn't. Why you lying? Why you lying? That's why I don't have to like them, but I respect Republicans for being honest. We don't fuck with y'all. We're not even going to act like we do. The Democrats, we don't fuck with y'all, but we going to pretend. And then once we get the vote, yo, you voted for us. Get the fuck out of my face. You feel me? It's no different than a relationship where a woman says, okay, you got the number and you got the draws and now you change. That's literally what they do. GTD. When the Democrats GTD, that's it. That's it, bro. They get the draws from us. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like when you're looking at, your options, when you're looking at your choice, you got to pay attention to what they're paying attention to. Can you fix this for me? Nah. What are y'all going to do with the resource that is the people? You dig what I'm saying? What are y'all going to do with the resource that is the people? That's why the Republicans said, fuck it. Let's go back to work, bro. Like, fuck that shit. Y'all better stop playing. Send these motherfuckers back to work. Fuck COVID. If they die, they die. You feel me? If they live, they got stronger immune systems. Fuck them. The Democrats were, no, let's act like we really care. But we're not going to let the economy fall either. We're going to make sure that we're paying attention to the resource that is the people. You feel me? That's capitalism. That's what it is to be a capitalist. You don't give a fuck about the people. People are so worried about it being the dollar. The dollar is just a byproduct. It's what you're doing with the people to move the money. The resources, the people. How are they moving the money around? We know who's the biggest resource right now. But we are now going to fuck. Like, why do you think major companies, the most expensive brands, the most, like, why are they all supporting Republicans? You think they hate black people. No, they love black people as a resource. They love black people as a resource, but they're going to support Republicans. You feel me? Kanye West been off his rocker. He been off his shit. But now do you see why Kanye is a fucking Republican? He understands that, yo, this is what y'all are going to do with the resource. That is the people. So I'm gonna fuck with that because y'all intent is to keep money moving by putting the people in position. So why do you think like Gucci, Fendi, like all of these top brands and all these people that we go and put ourselves into a position, like they're Republican for a reason. Now, this is not me saying go become Republican all of a sudden. No, fuck that. Fuck that. Listen to what I'm talking about. I'm talking about options and choices. But understand the option that you're dealing with and then make a choice. Think about that fucking option. You dig what I'm saying? Think about that fucking option and stop playing with it. You feel me? We don't think about our options, you know? So now when we look at people, like, why do you think the Republicans still popping? Because they understand the resources of the people. It's not about the money. It's about if I can keep these people in a position that keeps my money going, it is what it is. Why do you think they bail out corporations? Because when they bail out these corporations, they make the money back. People be thinking that they just dropped some bread on them and that was it. No, it's recouping your losses. Now you owe me. They make that money back when they bail out these major corporations. Why? Because they know the people, the true capital, is going to stay in these veins. You dig what I'm saying? Republicans are banking on poverty. I mean, the Democrats are banking on poverty. That's why that separation gap is there. The Democrats are there to, okay, well, we're going to go fuck with the impoverished people. Because impoverished people, a lot of times, it's not that impoverished people don't have the money. They don't have the capital. You feel what I'm saying? They don't know how to control the capital. They don't know how to control the capital the way they're supposed to allow themselves out of these situations. So you got to know both sides, bro. You worried about the left wing and the right wing? It's the fucking bird. Pay attention to the goddamn bird. The bird that you're fucking flying on. That's what you pay attention to. You feel what I'm saying? Don't do it just, it's like, yo, understand the resource. You feel me? This is why we be like, well, Republicans don't fuck with black people. No, Republicans don't fuck with the people who are not going to make sustainable money. I'm not shitting on my people. This is not a call for that. But the Democrats understand liquid money. You ever paid attention to the fact that they do not go into the Asian neighborhoods? Have you ever seen a targeting ad for Asian people to vote? Not Asian Americans. I'm not talking about them, the ones who have assimilated, the ones who have picked up the bullshit ass culture. You know, I'm talking about Chinatown, Koreatown. Why do you never see any ads or any kind of politics targeted towards them? Because real G's move in silence. The Republicans already know, look, this is what we're going to set this up for y'all businesses. We're going to set this up for this, that, and the third. We're going to like, yo, this is what it is. And the Democrats thing is, oh, we're going to do tax cuts on the rich people. We're going to do tax cuts for we're going to make sure the taxes hit them and it doesn't affect the little guy. Why? Because if you notice, they always pitch that to you and never deliver. That's who I'm going to vote for because they're looking out for the small. No, this is a corporation. The United States is a fucking corporation. It hasn't been a country since they bought the motherfucker. Why do you think there are no kings here. Why do you think the United States has a president? What has presidents? Businesses. This is a fucking business. This is the business. The people are the fucking employees and don't even know it. You feel me? That's what the capital is. The capital is the motherfucking resource that is the people, not the money. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, how can we best make this shit work? Oh, they're taking away jobs and they're like, no, okay, they're seeing the way the world is about to move financially. And they know the resource that it's going to pick. So which side are you going to pick? I get it, vote. But understand, or don't vote, whatever the fuck you choose to do. I don't give a fuck. But understand what the fuck you're doing. Don't just be out here picking options. Know why you have to pick this option and then learn how to make the choice. You feel what I'm saying? Once you get hit the game, you're like, oh, this is what it's going to work out in my favor depending on which way I go. You dig what I'm saying? All of this shit is movies. It's the movies. Like, you get the faces of the shit and they're doing everything else behind the scenes. You know, one thing that I've learned is, like I said, I'm going to go back to day trading and shit. One thing that I learned about trading is that the money still moved no matter which party was in office. Like, when I went back and I studied years of data before, like, and I watched the rises and falls of the money, and I watched this thing, I'm like, yo, the shit just continues to happen. It doesn't matter who the fuck is the goddamn president. It doesn't matter which party is the president. The money still has to move because the people that have gave you the option for this shit have already done the shit. They're like, well, we just need a face, really. Like, let these motherfuckers feel something. We need a way to control and to steer the capital, which is the people. We need a way to steer them. You know, which way are we going to steer them? We're going to steer them towards financial prowess. Make them think. Give them the illusion of inclusion. Make them think they had a choice. Make them think they pick. The same shit parents do to children is the same shit that the government does to people. You feel what I'm saying? I want you to eat your vegetables. So I'm going to put peanut butter on celery with raisins and call it ants on a fucking log. Why? Because you can't just give your kid celery. Because it doesn't taste good. All right? So, metaphorically, that's what they're giving us. Motherfucking celery, peanut butter, and raisins. This is ants on a log. Ooh, I like ants. Ooh, it appeals to me. You feel me? This is the shit. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the difference. You know what I mean? It's bigger than that. Like, pay attention to politics, please. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, I just don't like. I'm very in tune with politics, my guy. I'm not in tune to the parties. I don't fuck with the parties. I fuck with what the purpose of the parties represent. And I make my actions according to that. I understand, okay, look, you got to have a big corporation to do this shit. And at the end of the day, like I said, the core is the people. You feel what I'm saying? It's why I became an entrepreneur. It's why I became a businessman. It's why I was like, I have to give the people what they're looking for in the way that they're looking for it. Right? That's what capitalism is. I'm a capitalist. I'm not an exploitive capitalist. I see what people are looking for. I wrote So Frail because masculinity was lacking within where? The capital. What capital? The people. What people? My people. Okay, is everybody going to read it? Nah, I know some people don't. But at the end of the day, I had to think like a corporation point. Okay? In order, like, I don't try to get it to everybody. Everybody don't read, but I know how to get it to the people. Like, those are things that you have to start to think about. You know? Those are the things that have already been thought about when they give you the option to choose. You feel me? And the whole time you think it's a motherfucking choice. And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes merch and get your merchandise right now. Yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and start tying it down there. I'm gonna start tying it down. But this is the reality. This is the reality. This is what we're dealing with. This is why they bought Kamala Harris in. You feel me? This is why you have Biden. This is why people have, like, all of this shit is like, okay, bam. We know that there's going to be two types of people in this world, well, in this country. But we need all of the we need the whole resource of the people. We can't just operate from one side. But as long as the people are split and they pick a side, they don't even understand they're still funding and flowing all of this shit. You dig? All of this shit. Why do you think they're signing these acts and these bills to say, you know what? Give them more money. We're just going to print random money and give it to them. Right? That was a very strategic plan. As with every act that was released, when they gave the $1,200 stimulus, when they gave all of this shit, yeah, the stock market, it went up, it started to fluctuate. But the Forex market, the foreign exchange market, the US dollar has been dropping. The US dollar has been dropping like crazy because they're printing more money. Everybody's seeing that across the globe. It's a science behind this shit because the value of the dollar is getting weaker and weaker and weaker because they're printing more and more and more and more and more money. But people are capitalizing on that. As it falls, they're now moving it. They're now putting stronger currencies against it. I know because I'm doing this shit too. Banks, corporations, hedge funds, all of the money that they're putting in, they're like, oh, let the dollar get weak. And what's going to happen is they're going to keep printing all of this money out. Oh, the dollar is getting weak. It's going to be deflated. It's just going to be paper money. All of this money don't matter. Like, yo, the resource of the people with the byproduct of money is going to be viable. As long as there's currency, that's the purpose. The energy is currency that's going to keep circulating and keep moving around. You dig what I'm saying? So the dollar's been dropping like a motherfucker. Still weak. But as of this week, I've noticed that it's starting to pick up strength. They're starting to buy it again. Why? Because it's at a lower price. It's at a lower price. The dollar has been weak for about 2 to 3 weeks now. Solidly. Like weak, just declining. As far as I do correlations. So as far as the correlations go, it's a -7. But, well, it was a -7 for the last 2 weeks. Now it's up to a +3. It is moving in a positive direction now. Right in time. Right on time. You feel what I'm saying? The dollar's about to get stronger because it's the rise and fall of these currencies. It's battling against each other. You dig what I mean? The epidemic, the pandemic, all of that shit did that shit for a reason. You feel what I'm saying? It happened this way because we need the people. We need the actual resource to move shit. Okay, we're gonna, how can we make this drop? What can we do? Okay, cool. Let's make sure people can't go to work. Let's make sure, come on, the pandemic really, nobody else has died of anything else since this pandemic started. Nobody has died of anything else. Nobody's died of cancer. Nobody's died of diabetes. Nobody's died of heart disease. Everything is COVID. Right? Let's keep the people in the house and start taking jobs away. We're going to give new jobs. How do you give new jobs if you can't eliminate old ones that are no longer viable? The world is changing into an e-commerce platform. You're seeing brick and mortar shit die. Again, this is not on no prophetic shit. I told y'all this shit was going to happen in 2015. I said, shit's about to go digital. No, it's not. All right. And when it hits you, it's going to be a motherfucking bang because it's not going to be a gradual process. And look what the fuck happened within a matter of 8 months. 6 months, actually. Well, no, 5, because we went in on everything started being shut down in March. In a matter of 5 months, they didn't even give you a warning. Everything just started going digital. Brick and mortar died. Only thing that's brick and mortar that really lasted, that really survived was food. For the most part. But this other shit is starting to die. It's gone. You feel what I'm saying? Why? Because they knew what to do with the resource. Everybody's moving digital. There's more people shopping online. There's more people doing this. This is what the capital is doing. This is what the resource is doing. Fuck it. They're not going out anymore. They pay attention because we tell everything. social media. Oh, I didn't shop at Amazon. This, like they study the analytics. They study these algorithms. You need to be studying them too. Know how the money is moving because they know how it's moving. They know how to predict what's going to happen. It's called projection. They're able to see this shit. They started to see this shit back in 2015. Everybody saw it. It's like, yo, this is the way the world's going to go. This is the way the world's going to go. People, this way. No. Motherfuckers are stuck in their ways. Motherfuckers can't adapt. You feel me? Motherfuckers can't adapt. So now you're dealing with people who are on the side of, I need, like, oh, they're not looking out for the little person. Like, people be looking at, you're looking at the government's responsibility as opposed to the capital and the resource. We think that it's the government that's fucking up the small business. No, it's the people. Let's keep it a buck. It's the people, you know, it's the people. And now they're starting to see the rise. And why do you think everybody, oh, we're going to start giving more tax cuts, tax breaks, and we're going to start doing all these things, start funding more for black businesses and stuff like that. People are like, yo, we're going to start investing more in black businesses because they see the boom happening. They see the boom, like they literally are watching this shit happen. Oh, black people not only are starting more business, they're starting successful businesses. They're starting online businesses. They're starting actual, whoa. Let's get behind this. Let's get behind this resource now. Because when we start to get behind it, they're going to, okay. But we're not even seeing what they're doing with us as the resource. Black Lives Matter has received so much money that has not gone to black people in the 7 years that it's been running. Because it understands the people as the resource. It understands the people as a resource. It understands who to put as the face. It understands what all of these things do. But why do you, like, how can a white dude be funding this shit? He's not, like, people be thinking he's like, no, he's investing in this shit. He's getting his return right the fuck back. He's getting his return right the fuck back. Where do you think the money is going? Right back to his pocket. He funds it shit, like, and now it's self-fulfilling. It funds itself. He doesn't have to touch it anymore. Because he tapped into the resource. He tapped into the motherfucking resource. And now they're seeing the power of the resource. The resources collectively said, you know what? We're not spending with y'all. We're not. Wait. Hold up. No. Don't leave us. Don't leave us. Like, nah. Don't start your own. Because if you start your own businesses and your people are funding the shit and your people are actively doing, like, the nation, like, the world goes back to you. The world goes to you. So we have to keep that resource tapped in. That's where the Democrats have to come in. That's where the Democrats have to come in. Like I said, the Republicans, they're focused on the people aspect and how they keep corporations moving. The Democrats want the people as the resources themselves, you know, because like I said, with the Nike example, when James Wood pulled however much he pulled out, they didn't give a fuck. They said, we're going to stand with Cap. Why? Because we know that people are going to go buy this shit. You feel me? Motherfuckers are stupid. When LeBron James left Cleveland, what did they do? They went out and bought Cleveland. When he left the first time, they went out and bought jerseys to burn them. Stupid ass. They know they know people as the resource, bro. Corporations know people as a resource. And they know that your emotions and how they know what to back and they know what to move. That's why this shit is synchronized with sports and all of this other shit, because they know how people are going to operate. Feel me? Merchandise, all of this shit, and then they know who to put on the front. You feel what I'm saying? Jordan was Jordan, and Jordan got his own brand off of Nike simply because of what he put in, because of the capital that he brought to the table. We buy Jordans more than anything. They're not losing that. Like, you think Nike ain't still fucking with Jordan. Like, you think Jordan is his own brand. It's still a subsidiary under Nike. It just doesn't need the check anymore. You dig? It doesn't need the check any motherfucking more. You know? Jordan era phased out. LeBron is different. You know why LeBron is different? Because he's a black kid, black man, raised without a father. And that's a lot of our stories in that age bracket. That's a resource to tap into. You feel what I'm saying? That's a resource to tap into. So now we can bring it all full circle and go back into how the parties work. The Republicans move one way, the Democrats move another way, because the resource is always the people. That's what this is about. So they make sure they give you the option to appease to the resource. You feel me? Make America Great Again was about business. It was about business. How the fuck can we stir up so much money and see how we can move and maneuver all of this money? Motherfuckers thought it was about racism. Racism is no longer profitable. They were testing to see which things are really profitable these days. Racism ain't profitable no more. You dig what I'm saying? It ain't profitable anymore. What is profitable? Black Lives Matter. What is profitable? Homosexuality. What is profitable? Transgender shit. What is profitable? All of these things that they're like, that's what they back. They don't give a fuck about the people. They give a fuck about the people as the resource that's generating the capital and the revenue that is going to keep them afloat. So I'm going to back it. I'm going to back it. You feel me? When you get a celebrity that has to come out and make a public apology because all of the shit that he's connected to or she's connected to is going to fuck up the resource of the people. If the people pull out, oh, you better go apologize. You better go apologize, bro. You just made these anti-Semitic remarks. No. Look, we can have a sit down. It might be the truth, bro. Like, this shit might be real. But at the end of the day, I need you to apologize. Why? Because you're going to fuck up your affiliation with this corporation is going to fuck reality up for us. We ain't having that. We ain't having that. And motherfuckers know that on the other side of the game. They know that shit on the other side of the game. You know? So that's what this is about, man. Options and choices. I swear I love when I do the impromptu ones, bro, because it's like I ain't got no structure. I just love what I talk about in these things. But the way it's looking, I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying to vote. I'm saying know what the fuck you're voting for. Know why you have an option put in front of you and what that option is designed to do. Know the difference between what a Republican represents. This is why Republicans are mainly for corporations. You know, Democrats are supposedly for the people, but at the end of the day, they're all for the people. The Republicans just ain't bullshitting and sugarcoating the shit. We want your fucking money. The Democrats, though, we want you to feel like we fuck with you. You feel me? So we're gonna dance. We're gonna try to be in the communities, and we're gonna act like we're doing the shit to be elected, because now we have secured the resource. We have secured the resource, but the ultimate goal is the collective resource that is split down the middle between the Republican and the Democrat. The people. We create this system to where, okay, let's see how, like, racism wasn't profitable anymore. You feel me? So they got the last little bit of money they can get off of racism within these last 4 years. You feel me? They got the last little bit of shit, because now they're starting to see, yo, motherfuckers is really pulling their money out of this shit. You feel me? Motherfuckers really pulling their money out of it, and they started to see the allegiances being formed. You feel me? And it's like, yo, let's pay attention to that. All of this shit is about the capital. Capitalism is about the people, and the byproduct is the money. You dig me? The byproduct is the money. So if we're in that vein of understanding that, learn what you're going to vote for, learn what you're affiliated with, learn what your party actually represents, and learn whatever you're going to vote for. Learn what that party is and how that party is connected to people as a resource. What does that party get out of that? You feel what I'm saying? I get it. They talk about the Democrats being for small local businesses and shit and startups and all of that shit. No, the Republicans aren't for startups. They don't give a fuck about startups. They give a fuck about motherfuckers that are running and weathering storms. It's that simple. See, the Democrats, they're more so focused on the people that aren't weathering storms and shit like that, because, like, yo, I know you're liable to start again. We're going to give you guys hope to keep going. So that little small window of, you know, the popularity that starts when something pops off, like, yeah, we put you into the stock market. You get into, like, these major corporations that their stock shares are very high. You can't just buy in off of $3 and $4 anymore. That's who they fuck with, bro. That's who they really fuck with. But they're still sustained by the people who when they go public and shit, their stocks are, you know, $1 or $2 and shit like that. They still get profit off of that because, like I said, for example, with the James Wood shit, when he pulled that couple $1 million out, Nike was like, we don't give a fuck because why? We'd rather bring in 4 or 5 million people to put $5 in a piece. Like you're not hurting anything because you have a lump sum. We're gonna get the individuals. You know what I mean? And that's what this politics shit is about. The money. This is a corporation. The United States is a corporation. It's a business. So when you're choosing your option, which side of this business do you sit on? Which side of this business are you asset on? You feel me? That's why I don't vote. That right there is why I don't vote, because I have the choice not to. That's a part of my choice not to, because neither one of these motherfuckers represent what I'm looking for. But I understand how both of these people are playing the game. I understand how both of these wings are flapping on this fucking bird. You dig? But I also say, if you feel the need to vote, vote. If you feel the need not to vote, don't vote. That's your fucking choice. But understand the options that you're being presented. You know, pick your poison if you need to. But don't complain about the shit after you've chosen. This was a open choice for you to go with. You feel what I'm saying? So elevate the game. Understand this as a resource for the people. Understand this people as a resource, and the money is the byproduct. How is this money going to move? Pay attention to what's going on. You feel me? Pay attention to what's going on. I'm going to end it there. Yeah, it's really not much more to say about that shit, but pick your poison, yo. If you feel like, you know, and stop feeling like somebody's going to come save you, because these motherfuckers ain't saving shit. These motherfuckers, like, don't let voting be because you want to be saved. Like, don't let it be that, you know. But, I don't know, man. There's nothing more else to say. I got shit to do. So, as always, follow me on Instagram at _just_sing_. Hit me up at iamjustsing.com to join, to get all things me. You feel what I'm saying? What else? Be sure to kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And, you know, I'll probably see y'all on another one. You know, season 4, I'm still debating if I want to go ahead and knock it out and bring it back early. But, you know, for now, you know, you'll get impromptus when up until that point. But as always, I love y'all. You know, fight for a choice and go from that. And I'll see y'all on the next one, whenever the next one comes. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.